Are we ready for the next big one? The question on everyone's mind is not if, but when will disaster strike? We will be discussing the history of the San Andreas Fault, its potential for earthquakes, and the probability of a major earthquake occurring in Southern California. We will also explain why it is important to be prepared for seismic events. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of the dangers posed by the San Andreas Fault and why it is important to be prepared for a potential earthquake. The San Andreas Fault, located in California, is one of the most famous geological features in the world. It stretches for over 800 miles through the state, from the Salton Sea to the south to Cape Mendocino in the north. The fault marks the boundary between the North American and Pacific tectonic plates and is responsible for a long history of seismic activity, including numerous earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. The San Andreas Fault poses a great deal of danger because of the tectonic movement detected around the foot. This movement has been associated with periodic earthquakes, said to often develop near the surface along its path. The first earthquake occurred on the fault in 1857. There have been at least 5 recorded on it. This earthquake had a magnitude of 7.9 and killed 2 people in the process. However, the low number of casualties was due to the fact that not as many people lived there at the time. The now dangerous southern part of the San Andreas Fault has not experienced a major stress release since 1857. Historically, the San Andreas Fault marked the boundary between the Pacific and Northern Plains plates. Both plates move in a northerly direction, but one plate moves faster than the other. The Pacific Plate is one of the most active tectonic plates in the world, and it is constantly experiencing stress buildup as it grinds against neighboring plates. The buildup of stress can lead to catastrophic earthquakes, as was the case in 1906, when a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck the northern region of the Pacific Plate. However, some of the stresses on the fault were not released until more than 80 years later, during the Loma Prieta earthquake of 1989. It is important to note that the Loma Prieta earthquake was not as powerful as the 1906 earthquake, with a magnitude of 6.9. Additionally, the 1994 North Ridge earthquake, which was associated with another fault system, also had a larger magnitude than the Loma Prieta event. Despite these smaller magnitudes, the buildup of stress on the northern fault of the Pacific Plate is cause for concern. This fault system has never had the means to release stresses, and the longer it holds onto this stress, the more catastrophic an eventual earthquake could be. The potential consequences of a major earthquake on this fault could be devastating for the region, underscoring the importance of ongoing efforts to monitor and prepare for seismic events. The possibility of an earthquake with a magnitude of 9.0 striking Southern California has been a source of concern for many people. However, reputable scientific organizations such as the United States Geological Survey and Southern California Earthquake Center have stated that such an event is highly unlikely in the region. According to these experts, the only regions on Earth where earthquakes of this magnitude can occur are those where subduction occurs, a process where one tectonic plate is forced below another. In Southern California, 2 plates slide past each other rather than subduct. As a result, the maximum magnitude of an earthquake in the San Andreas system can never exceed 8.0. This is due to the physical limitations of the geological structures in the region. While an earthquake of this magnitude can still be devastating, it is important to understand that it is not the same as a 9.0 magnitude earthquake. The southern San Andreas Fault has not experienced a major earthquake in over 300 years, which means that pressure is building up along the fault line. According to the United States Geological Survey, there is a 7% chance of an earthquake with a magnitude of 8.0 or higher occurring in Southern California within the next 30 years. It is important to note that the impact of an earthquake is not solely determined by its magnitude. Other factors such as the depth of the earthquake and the proximity of populated areas to the epicenter also play a significant role. In the event of a major earthquake, the impact on Southern California would depend on a variety of factors, including the strength and resilience of the infrastructure in the affected areas. While a 9.0 magnitude earthquake is highly unlikely to occur in Southern California, the region is still at risk of experiencing a major earthquake in the near future. It is important for residents and officials to be prepared for this possibility and take steps to mitigate the potential damage and loss of life. According to a scientific analysis based on probable cause, there is a 75% chance that a quake of magnitude 7.0 could strike this district. While this rate may not appear to be accurate, it is still a reason to worry, and caution must be exercised. It is important to note that tremor extents are not affected either way, and the difference between a 7.0 magnitude and a 9.0 magnitude is huge. The size of a 9.0 delivers multiple times more damaging energy than that of an 8.0, and roughly multiple times more energy than a 7.0. It is important to understand the impact of a quake around here, as none of the three potential sizes referenced are alluring. The pulverization brought about by such an occasion would be beyond what we see in our day-to-day existence. It might be the first of its kind in America in the event that there was a powerful tremor of 8.0. In any case, it is vital to address the subject of seismic tremors with exact data, as opposed to falsehoods depicted in entertainment media like motion pictures. For example, the portrayal of the San Andreas Fault as being underneath the sea is false. The fault is that it isn't beneath the sea, and any slippage along it can't dislodge water, so that would bring about a torrent. Furthermore, the opening up of a gigantic gap is an inventive depiction, as the plates slide in comparison to one another instead of away from one another. Understanding what underlies potential seismic tremor occasions can be valuable in planning for and relieving their effect. While the probability of a seismic tremor in this district may not be certain, playing it safe and having crisis plans in place can help with diminishing the potential mischief brought about by such an occasion. Scientists have been studying the San Andreas Fault for decades, trying to understand how it works and how to predict when the next major earthquake may occur. Recently, NASA scientists have been using advanced technology to monitor the San Andreas Fault more closely than ever before. They've been studying the fault using a combination of satellite imagery, ground-based sensors, and computer models to create a detailed picture of the fault's behavior. It allows them to see changes in the landscape over time and track the movement of the fault. According to the research, the crack in the fault line is located in the southern part of the San Andreas Fault and runs for approximately 130 kilometers. This crack is around 3 kilometers deep. What they have discovered is alarming. The San Andreas Fault is likely to experience a major earthquake in the near future, and when it does, it could trigger devastating floods in the surrounding areas. NASA scientists have identified a specific section of the fault, known as the Carrizo Plain, as being particularly at risk. The area is prone to flooding, and if a major earthquake were to occur there, it could cause the ground to rupture and release large amounts of water into nearby rivers and streams. The potential impact of this scenario is difficult to overstate. The flooding could cause widespread damage to homes, businesses, and infrastructure in the affected areas, and could even result in loss of life. NASA scientists are now working closely with local authorities and emergency responders to prepare for this eventuality. They're using their data and models to develop emergency plans and evacuation strategies, and are working to raise awareness among the people who live in the affected areas. These people are the key players in this story. They are the ones who will be most directly affected by the earthquake and the subsequent floods, and they are the ones who will need to be prepared to respond. Many of these people have lived in the area for generations and are intimately familiar with the risks posed by the San Andreas Fault. They have experienced earthquakes before and know how to prepare for them. However, the prospect of flooding is a new and unfamiliar challenge, and one that will require new strategies and preparations. Local authorities are working to educate people about the risks and to encourage them to take steps to prepare themselves and their homes. This includes things like creating emergency kits, securing loose items in and around their homes, and making sure they have a plan for evacuating if necessary. It is impossible to predict exactly when the next major earthquake will occur on the San Andreas Fault, or how severe it will be. However, the NASA scientists' research has given us a glimpse of what the future may hold, and the potential risks and challenges we may face. By working together and taking proactive steps to prepare for this eventuality, we can minimize the damage and disruption caused by a major earthquake and help keep our communities safe. The potential for devastation is high, and the need for preparedness is urgent. People living in this affected area should take steps to prepare for such a disaster. They should have an emergency plan in place, including evacuation routes, emergency supplies, and communication plans with family and friends. They should also ensure that their homes are well maintained and have adequate flood insurance coverage. Government officials must take action to prevent or mitigate the impact of this potential flood. They should conduct regular inspections of the fault and ensure that infrastructure, such as dams and levees, are in good condition and can withstand a potential flood. They should also work with communities to develop emergency response plans and ensure that evacuation routes are marked and accessible. The resilience of the people of California is remarkable. They have faced many challenges over the years, including earthquakes, wildfires, and droughts. However, they have always come together in the face of adversity. In the event of a potential flood, it is important that people work together to support one another and overcome the challenges that they will undoubtedly face.